Hey yo, what's up, y'all? It's your boy Ace. This is Fantasized Football. We are back once again, bringing y'all some more fantasy football content for the 2021 fantasy football season. And I am here today to bring y'all my must-start players for Week 15 of the fantasy football season. But before we get into that, as always, wanted to give a quick shout out to each and every one of y'all that come by on a weekly basis, showing your boys some love and support, helping the channel to grow. I really do appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. If you're new to the channel, though, welcome. I do hope you enjoyed today's video. If you do at any point, make sure that you leave a like, drop a comment, and subscribe to the channel. Help me reach my goal of 500 subscribers on YouTube by the end of the fantasy football season. I would appreciate any and all help reaching that goal. But here we are, right? The fantasy football playoffs are right here. They're right in front of us. They're staring us in the eyes. They're staring us in the eyes here in Week 15. And I got some players that if you got in your fantasy football roster, they better be in your lineup if you want to win. And I'm sure that you want to win. So without further ado, let's kick it off. Let's get right into it. And let's go into the quarterback position. And the must-start quarterback here this week is Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts of the Philadelphia Eagles going up against Washington at home this week. Now listen. Jalen Hurts has been dealing with an ankle issue, right? He had to leave early Week 12. He missed Week 13, but he had to bye last week to recover. He should be fresh. All signs point to him being good to go and starting here this week against Washington. Listen. Jalen Hurts, he has not been good as a passer this season. He hasn't been. He's only got 4 games over 200 yards passing. Yeah, I know. Can't even believe your eyes, right? But listen, I'm not concerned about it for fantasy because what he's lacked as a passer, he has more than made up for with what he provides as a rusher. He's averaging 58 rushing yards a game. He's got 8 rushing touchdowns on the season. He's been an absolute stud running the ball. And to me, this feels like the perfect storm here this week against Washington, right? This is a divisional matchup between some divisional rivals, right? If anyone's noticed where Washington's been weak, it's been the Eagles. And where has Washington been so weak? Against the pass this season. So hopefully Jalen Hurts can expose them, right? He can come on a little bit more as a passer. He continues to provide that rushing upside that we've seen throughout the season. And to me, it's like a recipe. Read the recipe, cook the boom. Here you go. You want some Jalen Hurts big game stew? There you go. You got it. If you got Jalen Hurts in your fantasy football, on your fantasy football roster, slot him in your lineup this week. He's in for a big week here against Washington. I'm feeling it. He's a must-start quarterback here for me in Week 15. Now, moving on, we're going to talk about the running back position. The first player I want to talk about is Elijah Mitchell of the San Francisco 49ers going up against Atlanta at home. Now, Elijah Mitchell did have to miss Week 14 as well. He was dealing with a concussion and a knee issue. The knee issue is a minor issue, so I'm not concerned with that. And he should be able to clear the concussion protocol. You'd assume he'd be good to clear the concussion protocol, so I'm not concerned. And you know what else I'm not concerned about with Elijah Mitchell? I'll tell you right now. I won't even give you any time to think about it. The volume. The volume has been there for Elijah Mitchell, and that's what we love to see. From weeks 10 through 13, he was averaging 25 touches per game. We've seen it with Elijah Mitchell. He handles the majority of the early down work. He's a goal line back there, and he's been getting more involved in the passing game as well. He's had 5 targets in 2 out of his last 3 games. So if he's going to be getting the goal line work, if he's going to be getting the majority of the passing down work, then the valuable touches are there for Elijah Mitchell, especially here in this matchup against Atlanta. If you remember, if you've been following the channel, if you've been watching my videos, weeks back I said you got to go out and trade for Elijah Mitchell because the playoff schedule, the fantasy playoff schedule is phenomenal, and it kicks off here against Atlanta. Atlanta has allowed 100 yards or a touchdown to the running back position in 11 out of 13 games this season. So it's almost a lock that Elijah Mitchell has a big game here this week as the primary running back for the San Francisco 49ers. So if you have Elijah Mitchell, for me, he is a must start here in Week 15. Now, moving on, we're going over to my boy, Myles Gaskin of my Miami Dolphins going up against the Jets at home. Listen, I'm just going to say this right now. I think that the Dolphins aren't going to lose a game the rest of the season. They're going to finish 10-7 and they're going to make the playoffs. You heard it here first, babe. Listen, I like Myles Gaskin a lot this week. Again, Myles Gaskin coming off the bye. He is fresh. He is going through the protocol right now, but I'm not too concerned about it. He is vaccinated. He just needs 2 negative tests, so he should be good to go. He should be ready to rock and roll. And again, just like Elijah Mitchell, something I'm not concerned about with Myles Gaskin is the volume, because over the last 7 games, he's been averaging 19 touches per game. So the volume has been there for Myles Gaskin as of recently, especially. And if you look back to Week 11, the last time that the Dolphins played the Jets, Myles Gaskin had 26 touches. He had 26 touches. He found the end zone as well. Obviously, again, they're going up against the Jets this week, and Miami's been on fire. Miami's defense has been playing great, and the Jets stink, right? Miami's offense is coming together too. Tua looks a lot better. A lot of the weapons look a lot better. You got Devontae Parker back. Jalen Waddle's been rock and rolling. Myles Gaskin's been playing well. So I think this is a recipe here in this matchup against the Jets for a big Myles Gaskin game, because I expect the Dolphins to control this game and it to be a positive game script, and we can expect more of the same like we saw week 11. Big time volume for Myles Gaskin here against the Jets. The Jets, again, just like Atlanta, have been a phenomenal matchup for the running back position, allowing 100 yards or a touchdown to a running back in 12 out of 13 games this season. So if you got Myles Gaskin, he is a must-start player here in week 15. Now, moving on to the last running back I want to talk about, it is James Conner of the Arizona Cardinals going up against Detroit at the Detroit Lions. Listen, Chase Edmonds, he's off IR. Oh no, I'm so scared. No, I'm not. I don't care. Listen, I do not care. No, Chase Edmonds is going to be a factor if he's back, but it is within the realm of possibilities that they try to, the Cardinals that being, they try to ease Chase Edmonds back into things. And if you look at James Conner, right, James Conner has been an absolute monster, right? He scored a touchdown in 7 straight games. He has 16 touchdowns on the season. So do you really think the Cardinals are going to stop using James Conner in a heavy role after how well he's been producing? Listen, here's the thing, right? About 5 minutes ago, before I started recording this video, I did get a little notification on my phone that James Conner's dealing with some ankle issue and he's day-to-day, but he was good to go last week. I'm expecting him being ready to go here this week. Now, listen, I get it, right? Chase Edmonds is back. If they don't ease him back in, James Conner may cede a little bit of early down work to him, cede some passing down work to Chase Edmonds, but James Conner's been great in both those roles as an early down back and as a passing down back. He's been very good. Last week, I believe he had 9 targets, caught all 9 balls, so he has been good in that role as well. But even if he does lose some of that work to Chase Edmonds, what we really care about here is the goal line work from James Conner. This is a matchup here against Detroit. Arizona is likely to control this game, be in a positive game script, calling for a lot of running the football. And I expect them to be around the red zone, be around the end zone a lot, which is where James Conner makes his money. And this matchup against Detroit is phenomenal for running backs. This is better than the Falcons. This is better than the Jets. Listen to this. Are you ready for this? Well, actually, hold on. Before we get into it, last week, week 14, the Lions allowed Melvin Gordon and Javonte Williams to score 4 touchdowns between the two of them. So even if it is Chase Edmonds and it is James Conner, there's plenty of good stuff to go around, plenty of touchdowns, plenty of opportunity to go around. So I'm not concerned of it. But seriously, now listen to me. Hear me out here, right? The Lions have allowed 100 or more yards and a touchdown or multiple touchdowns to the running back position in 8 out of 13 games this season. So more often than not, the running back position just absolutely explodes against the Detroit Lions. So if you've got James Conner this week, do not be scared of Chase Edmonds coming back. He is a must start here for me in this great matchup against the Detroit Lions. Now moving on to the wide receiver position. The first player I want to talk about is Hunter Renfrow of the Las Vegas Raiders going up against the Browns at Cleveland. Now listen, Hunter Renfrow, you got to throw him in there. What do we love to do around here? We love to ride the hot hand. We're riding the hot hand that is Hunter Renfrow. Hunter Renfrow's had 3 straight 100-yard games. He's had 100 yards or a touchdown in 4 of the last 5 games. And the volume has really been there more so for Hunter Renfrow as of late. He has had 8 or more targets in 8 of his last 10 games. He has really come on as a focal point of this offense. This passing attack from the Raiders is going to be a funnel between himself, Hunter Renfrow, and Darren Waller. If Darren Waller is back this week, if Darren Waller has to miss another week, that's great news for Hunter Renfrow as well. He has been great as of late. Him and Derek Carr clearly have a lot of chemistry, so I love Hunter Renfrow this week. This is a matchup here against the Browns. Vegas has a horrible defense, particularly against the run. What do the Browns have? A great run game. So I expect this to be a game where the Raiders are airing the ball a lot and a big game incoming from Hunter Renfrow. So if you have him on your fantasy football roster, he is a must start for me here in week 15. Now moving on to the next receiver I want to talk about is Keenan Allen of the LA Chargers going up against Kansas City at home this week. Now, Keenan Allen missed last week as well. He missed week 14 due to the protocol, but he should be good to go. He should be ready to rock and roll. Now, when you look at Keenan Allen, what have you done for me recently, Keenan Allen? Well, let me tell you. He's had 7 or more catches and 80-plus yards or a touchdown in 6 straight games. And we love volume here. We love volume, right? We always say how much we love volume from the running back position, from the wide receiver position, from the tight end. We love volume here. Volume is king. And Keenan Allen has provided us with that. He has had 8 or more targets in 11 out of 12 games this season, and he's had double-digit targets in 8 out of those 12 games. So the volume has been forever present with Keenan Allen this season. And this week, this matchup here with Kansas City, right? They're playing at home. Chargers have one of the worst pass defenses in the league, like Washington, right? And the Chiefs have one of the best passing attacks in the game with Patrick Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce. So I'm expecting a lot of passing volume on both sides of the ball. I expect the Chiefs to try to take advantage of this weak Chargers secondary, and the Chargers in turn having to throw the ball a lot to keep up with the Chiefs, which is again a recipe for a huge Keenan Allen game. So if you have Keenan Allen on your fantasy football roster, it's a no-brainer. It is an easy must start here in week 15. Now, to wrap up the wide receiver portion, we have Brandon Cooks of the Houston Texans going up against the Jacksonville Jaguars at Jacksonville. Now, Brandon Cooks has been a bit up and down, but he has gotten a decent amount of volume this season. He's seen 7 or more targets in 8 out of 13 games this season, and he's been at his best with Davis Mills under center. And Davis Mills is set to start this week against Jacksonville. When we look at what Brandon Cooks has done with Davis Mills this season, he's averaging over 9 targets per game, 7 catches, 63 yards. He's been a bit light on the touchdowns, but this is the week that I really like Brandon Cooks. Davis Mills has had some big games this season. I expect a big game from him here this week. He's going up against Jacksonville. They are an exposable defense, an exposable secondary, and I think this game really could be a high-scoring game. I know it's going to go one of two ways, right? This one's very unpredictable. It might be 10-3, but it also could be like 31-27, right? Because both these defenses are terrible. And again, like I said, at least from the Texans side of things, Davis Mills has had some big blow-up games this season. He's had some big games, and Brandon Cooks is clearly his favorite target. I love the matchup against Jacksonville. I love what Brandon Cooks has done with Davis Mills, and I'm expecting a big game out of him. So if you have him on your fantasy football roster, he is a must-start for me here in Week 15. Now, it's time to wrap things up. It's time to finish things off with the tight end position. And the player I want to talk about is Dallas Goedert of the Philadelphia Eagles going up against Washington at home. Now, I already talked about Jalen Hurts with this Washington football team, so let's talk about Dallas Goedert a little bit. He's coming off the bye. He's fresh. He's ready to go. And prior to his bye, he had one of the best games of his career, a massive game here. 6 targets, 6 catches, 105 yards, and he scored 2 touchdowns. He now has 60 or more yards or a touchdown in 7 out of 12 games this season. He's a focal point of this offense, of this passing attack himself and Devontae Smith. And again, like I mentioned with Jalen Hurts, Washington is very weak against the pass. So I'm looking to take advantage of this here this week with Jalen Hurts, with Devontae Smith, with Dallas Goedert. I'm expecting a big game out of Dallas Goedert. Again, we are riding the hot hand that is Dallas Goedert. He's fresh. He's ready to go. He's got the confidence there based on his last outing where he had over 100 yards and he scored twice. So I love Dallas Goedert. If you have him on your fantasy football roster, he is a must start here for me in Week 15. And that wraps it up, though. Let's go through it real quick. Quarterback, must start, Jalen Hurts. Running backs, we have Elijah Mitchell, we have Myles Gaskin, and we have, oh my God, Elijah Mitchell, Myles Gaskin, and James Conner. Wide receivers, we have Hunter Renfrow, we have Keenan Allen, and we have Brandon Cooks. And tight end, we have Dallas Goedert. I do hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I do hope you found it helpful. If you did at any point, make sure that you leave a like, drop a comment, and subscribe to the channel. Seriously, it helps so very much. It helps the channel so much. It helps me so much. I would really appreciate it. If you guys have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments below over on my socials. Start sick questions, anything of that nature. Feel free to drop them in the comments below over on my socials. Links will be down below to my Instagram, to my Twitter. Check out the podcast if you haven't as well. We got a podcast version of it. Leave a 5-star review on Apple if you haven't already. I would really appreciate that. But that wraps it up. I hope you guys have a great weekend. I hope you enjoy the football. Most importantly, I hope you smash your fantasy football matchups. But we are done. That's it. That's all there is. Me, my boy, we are out. And we will catch y'all next time. And as always, thank you, love you, peace.